Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we're going to have some fun. I'm going to create a plugin tier list of the best synth plugins. Now this is the synth edition. I'll do another one for mixing plugins, but for sound generating plugins, we're going to make a tier list. I saw a lot of YouTubers doing it, and shout out to whoever created the trend. I'm not sure exactly who started it, but shout out to all the producer community who did it. Now I'm going to have my spin on the BST tier list of the year. So let's switch over into our internet, and let me double check, because sometimes I click on this thing and it does. Okay, there we go. We're good. Okay, so here I have Ample Sounds, Ample Guitars. I have Analog Lab. We have Contact 7. What is that? The Korg the Korg collection of plugins. We have Nexus, Omnisphere. I kind of bundled Omnisphere in with Trillion and Keyscape. And we have Output Arcade, Purity, VST, and then we have Serum and what is this here? Expand 2. Okay, so how this works is, if you haven't seen the YouTube videos already, you have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. Basically speaking, S is like supreme. A is I. B is could do better. C is come on, cuz. And D is don't even buy it. Okay, so let's see where these plugins stack up. Now, if you want specific plugins, like the worst plugins, maybe we'll come up with a different chart. But for now, we're going to do the best synth plugins. So starting off with Ample Sounds, Ample Guitar Collection. Now I'm going to have different factors. So I have a lot of experience. For those who don't know, I have over 2,000 plugins just to prove it. So we have a lot of people who are new here. I literally have over 2,000 plugins, 2,128 plugins. So I've experienced a lot of plugins. Okay, so I've seen a lot. And I'm just going to rank this based on a lot of things. One, usability. Actually, I need to write this down. To be fair, I need to write this down. So let me pause the video and write this down. So what makes my tier list a little bit different, I'm going to rank them in 5 different categories. One is ease of use. How easy is it to use the plugin? Can I look at the interface and know exactly what I'm doing, even as a beginner, or is it super complicated? 2 is the marketing of the company. This matters because sometimes a company doesn't talk about their plugin enough, and I get bored with the company and I just stop using the plugin. Like Silent One from Leonard Digital, for example. Then you have word of mouth. Who's talking about the plugin even without the marketing? Then we have the 4th category, which is sound quality. How good is like the sound? And the 5th measurement here is how many features does it have in the plugin that are useful for music production. So with all that being said, let's rank each of these. So Ample Sounds, let's start everything off at A level. Anything that's on this list is all A level. So let's start there, and then I'll derank if I find points against it. So Ample Sounds, Ample Guitar, they have so many, and I should have said price. Let's add one that's price. Yeah, we need price in there. The thing is, if you don't, they're all good. I have the lap steel, I have the bass ones, I have the acoustic guitar, I have the electric guitar. You have to pick right going into this company. So if you're going for acoustic, I would recommend the Ample Sound Guitar M. And if you're going electric, I would recommend either the SH, the semi-hollow, or the Stratocaster, which is, I think, the S, what initials are it? I forget. It's like the F or S, one of those. Okay, so, let's go in order because I'm going on tangents. Ease of use, very easy to use. This thing even revoices chords to sound like the guitar. So even if you're playing like a major 9 in keyboard style, it will revoice it to sound like you're playing it on a guitar. So that's really ease of, you don't have to learn how to play stuff like a guitar player to make that sound real. That's why it probably has one of the best ease of use factors in this entire list. The second is the marketing. I think it could do better with marketing, but I think they're still in the beginning stages. They have an excellent product. I just think it's not seen enough in the producer community. Once it hits that point to where it's seen a lot, this will be the standard of guitars. In my opinion, I haven't found one other company that does guitars better than Ample Sound, not one company. So that's pretty high ranking. I would say their marketing is probably a B level or C level, but because they're so new as far as like awareness in the community, I would say that I can't derank them there. Word of mouth, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this plugin. So because we've had both the marketing and the word of mouth kind of low, I'm only going to pull this down to B because of those 2 factors combined. Now, the 4th measure here is sound quality. Sound quality is extremely good. They even come with amps in the plugin, and it comes with riff machine. It comes with all different ways to add tone. For that, I'm going to raise it back up to the A level because those features are so strong. The sound quality is so strong. Next measurement is features. Now on here, it has so many features that make this experience cool, from key switches to riff machine to stuff where you can export the MIDI and put it in any instrument you want. Because it's so rich in features, I'm going to pull this up to S tier. And lastly, price. This is the tricky part, because if you don't know what you're buying when it comes to ample sound, you may buy one that, you just don't know what to buy. There's just so many that you don't know what to buy, and they're all like around $100. So it can be pretty pricey for somebody coming in, buying each plugin like it's a real instrument. So I would recommend doing the research. I would say price matters because you have to do research before you buy. So for that, I'm going to pull it down to A tier, but it's like A and S at the same time. Okay, so the next plugin in our lineup is Analog Lab. And again, everything starts at A tab, and then we're going to pull it down A tier, and we're going to pull it down or up. So Analog Lab has so many instruments in here that mimic real synths. I have synths to my left and my right. I have Prophets all the way to Moogs. And I'll say they did a good job with the sound design for each instrument in this bundle. Now, that's a lot to say. They have so many instruments that it's almost hard to really break it down into analysis. That's why I'm going to use these 5-6 points here. So let's start off with ease of use. I think Analog Lab is pretty easy to use. You just click presets. You can edit the plugin if you want to. It's pretty easy to use. Now, saving banks and everything can be a little convoluted in a way, or how to import stuff can be a little convoluted if you don't know what you're clicking on. But for the most part, Analog Lab is pretty friendly when it comes to user experience. I was going to say something else, but I'll leave it for the next point. Marketing for this company is really good because they understand the content creator. There's not a lot of companies that understand the content creator. Arturia is one of those companies who completely understands what it's like to make videos for a company, to be an affiliate of a company, to push a product organically and not just like a sales pitch the whole time. They understand that. That alone should be one of the premier things in the producer community, because everybody can talk about Arturia and we all share from that, wealth, I'll say, for Arturia. They get it. And I really like the company for that. 3 is word of mouth. Everybody talks about Analog Lab. They make Analog Lab banks. They just talk about Arturia all the time. Sound quality is the 4th measure here, and sound quality is pretty good. Now I've never, side by side compared the sound, so it's hard to really compare when you're doing like emulations of real hardware. So that would be a little tricky. But as far as the presets and do they sound good? Yes. What's next? 5 is features. I think this has a lot of features for a decent price, and for that, because the price and features, because the feature value overrides the price so much, I'm going to rank that higher. Wait, let me make sure OBS is still filming here. It just said it had an error. Okay, hopefully this is still recording. Okay. So for that reason, we're going to pull it up to S tier. And what I say, features for the price. And then the price is fair. Okay, I think you're getting a lot of value for the price when it comes to analog stuff. Or excuse me, when it comes to Arturia stuff. Okay, next up we have, what is this? Kontakt 7. So everything's going to start out at S tier, or excuse me, A tier. Now, Kontakt, the cool part about Kontakt is that you can get the free version, which is the Kontakt Player. And because you can get the free version, and you can even load up libraries using the free version, that alone, to me, makes this S tier. Because now you can explore sounds without buying a plugin to get in the game. For example, imagine not needing Xbox to play an Xbox game. If you think about it, even on Xbox, you have to have an Xbox in order to play Fortnite for free on Xbox. You have to buy an Xbox to play something for free. But this is the opposite. You get something for free to access libraries that you could purchase or libraries that are free. So it's a win-win-win. And for that reason, it has an extremely ease of use of installation. The installation process through the native access is extremely easy. You can't really get it wrong. Before, it was a different process. But because they've created this centralized place, it's easy to keep everything in order. What have I installed? What have I uninstalled? You can really keep track of everything in one little app called the Native Access. And this, because you can get Kontakt Player for free, this makes this a dangerous ease of use. And I found the company extremely well done. Marketing, Kontakt, and Native Instruments they are good at marketing. I think they could be more innovative when it comes to their marketing efforts. But they're talked about. So the next thing here is the word of mouth. Everybody talks about Native Instruments. I haven't heard one person that doesn't know what that is. Sound quality. is the fourth measure here. Again, with Kontakt, you're going to get more organic sounds and more sounds that are sound designed to be good. You tend to get a higher sound quality out of Kontakt libraries that I've found. Okay, so for that reason, sound quality is up there, S tier. This is why a lot of film score people use Kontakt for string libraries and all these really advanced libraries that are really expressive. They run it through Native Instruments Kontakt for that reason. So for that reason, sound quality is supreme. For the fifth one here is features. Kontakt comes with a lot of features. I think they're not overly feature rich. There's a lot of companies that think the next plugin has to have more features. Sometimes we consumers are not buying a feature. We're just buying a good sound. Like for example, I have a Narcos library coming out for Kontakt, and all you need is the Kontakt player to use the Narcos library. Now Narcos will be a paid product, but you can download the free Kontakt player and load up Narcos. Now the cool part about Narcos, it's not super feature rich. It doesn't have a bunch of stuff that you're not going to use. It has very straightforward stuff for music production, creative stuff, but very straightforward stuff for music production. I'll have more information as we lead out to the launch on that one. But so, and lastly, price. Kontakt is free. So that's why the price is S tier. Kontakt player is free, I should say. Okay, so that was a long diatribe here. This is the Korg collection. So we're going to start at A. Ease of use. That's a good question. Ease of use. It's similar to Analog Lab, how it's multiple instruments all in one bundle. And I bought I forget what the bundle was called, the Legacy Collection. Okay, so I forget exactly what they came with, but some of the plugins are really complicated for beginners because I used to have this plugin a long time ago, and then I rebought it again. And it was difficult when I first started producing, but now that I understand what patch means, write, utility, and all these different words, it makes more sense. So some of the plugins are a little convoluted to use and some are easy to use, like the SRX libraries and the different ones like that. In Xenology, those are easy to use. Korg Triton's pretty straightforward, but some of the synth ones are a little complicated. So because it's a mixed bag, I'm going to say A tier, only because it's more of a mixed bag when it comes to ease of use there. Secondly, measure is marketing. I don't think Korg markets their plugins enough. I think they market their hardware a lot. When it comes to plugins, I don't really see them taking the social media content creator approach when it comes to marketing. For that reason, I'm going to lower them to B because I haven't really seen them show love to content creators as much. It just doesn't feel that way. The third one is word of mouth. Do I hear people talking about Korg? Not really. Only on the West Coast did they talk about Xenology and a couple libraries, but for the most part, you don't hear people talking about Korg plugins that much in the music producer space. As far as like the plugins they tell people about. They could be secret plugins for all I know, but they don't tell people about them. Then you have sound quality. Sound quality is S tier. So because the sounds are so supreme, we're going to rank this up to A, but it's not going to override all the marketing and word of mouth. And what we have here, the fifth measure here is features. It does what it needs to do. It's one of those things that doesn't need to have a bunch of features you're never going to use. So for that, we're going to keep it A tier. And lastly, price. This is the tricky part because I think Rolling Cloud is a monthly subscription, and I think you may be able to buy the plugin straight out. I'm not quite sure, but I know they're expensive. And because they're expensive and the Rolling Cloud, the only thing I'll say about the Rolling Cloud, because I rarely tell people to spend monthly dollars on a plugin or some kind of software. The thing I'll say about this is by the end of the year, you can own something in perpetuity. So I think every year, once you pay the full year, you can own one, synth from their library of Rolling Cloud. So I own like a couple synths that I can load up at any time, even if my Rolling Cloud subscription is canceled. For that reason, it kind of evens out the subscription thing because you are technically paying for the value that you're getting. So it's not like you're paying monthly and then when you turn it off, everything disappears. Okay, so for that reason, I'm going to keep it A status. But price is a little heavy, it's a little heavy. Okay, next up we have Nexus. I'm gonna move a little bit quicker through the next ones because I didn't realize I had so much to say about these plugins. We are already, 14 minutes in? Holy moly. I need you to like the video because I'm giving you guys stuff that nobody really talks about. Nexus, I'm gonna really talk faster. Okay, Nexus. We're gonna start at A value, A tier. Nexus, ease of use, I would say extremely easy to use. Okay, marketing. Very bad, in my opinion. Marketing almost devalues this thing down to C. I haven't seen Nexus really push through content creation. I haven't seen them really go through content creators to make their stuff more popular. I don't think they're really focused on the marketing aspect. They're focused on a great product, but the marketing could be 100 times better because Nexus is such a stabilized product. You don't need to have all this gimmicky stuff. It just does what it does. It's almost like buying a keyboard. Okay. So for that reason, I knocked it down 2 notches. The marketing is so bad, in my opinion. Word of mouth, people really don't talk about Nexus. And for that reason, I'm going to keep it at C level. They just don't talk about it. Fourthly is sound quality. For the sound quality of Nexus, I'm going to rank this back up to A because the sounds are so good because they're so heavily curated. You get the tropical house sounds, they all sound like tropical house. There's not like random drones and stuff you'll never use. So for that reason, I'm going to rank it back at A. Features on Nexus 4, this is my opinion. I think some of the features they added were kind of going over the top, and maybe, I don't know what that did to the consumer. It didn't take away from the brand. I just think they didn't need to add as many features as they did. We just need good sounds. But I'll just say kind of ambiguous about the features. So I'll say B for now. And then lastly, the price of Nexus. I think this is what worries people because you can end up spending like thousands of dollars on Nexus alone. That's a little wild to me and I think it's because we see Nexus as one plugin. We don't see it like Kontakt where we're buying Kontakt or getting the free Kontakt player, and then we're buying libraries that are like decked out whole things by themselves. Every time Nexus has a pack, it doesn't feel like a whole thing by itself, like a Kontakt library. I don't know if it's the layout of Nexus to where it makes it just look like one big screen browser, because Kontakt makes everything feel like a new product every single time. That's the only tricky part in Nexus is the way it's built doesn't make each sound bank feel like you're like adding a whole new thing into it. It just feels like a little bonus. And for that reason, I think the price kind of lowers us in value as far as the tier list. Okay, so it's a B. Okay, moving faster, we have Omnisphere, S tier. No, let's start at A tier and let's be fair. Okay, ease of use. With Omnisphere, ease of use, that's a good question. I'll say, yeah, for the amount of stuff it can do, it's extremely easy to use, but you still have to know how to use it, if that makes sense. Like finding patches and combinations and individual patches and all this, it's so rich with content that it's a nice balance, okay, for what it has inside. It has so many sounds. I can't imagine it being any more simple without frustrating people. Okay, so that's a little tricky of a question. Marketing, I think Spectrasonics, when they do market, they market. But when they are not marketing, they're kind of relying on word of mouth. And I just think they could be way stronger with content marketing, dealing with content creators, cutting deals, doing affiliate stuff. In this game of music production, you got to be collaborative and share the wealth. If one company just makes something and never lets anybody eat off that thing, they're not really going to push it because they don't believe it's theirs. This product is so good that imagine they gave away 10%, 30% of the commissions to content creators, 50%, even 70%. I would recommend 100% because they're all new customers coming into a system. I don't want to teach my philosophy right now, but Omnisphere is so good that they could expand 100 times if they just let people gain wealth with them. I think that's the only problem I would have with their marketing is that they're not including content creators and sharing the wealth basically outside of the company when it comes to salesmen and different things. Word of mouth. Omnisphere is talked about a lot. So let's move this up to S tier because the word of mouth is like up here. When we say Google, we think Omnisphere is like the Google of music production tools. Okay, word of mouth. Sound quality, top tier, S tier. Features, S tier. And then price. For what you're getting, you're getting basically like 10 keyboards in one. So for that reason, it's undervalued. And we're going to keep that in the S tier. Okay, next up we have Output Arcade. Ease of use, it's extremely easy to use. Even though I don't use it, it's extremely easy to use. So for that reason, it's in the A tier. I'm not going to say it's like S tier ease of use to where it pulls it up a whole rank. Marketing, I will say that their ads are cool. Do they do deals with content creators? I'm not really sure. So since I'm ambiguous about that, I can't really rank that one. Word of mouth has a lot of word of mouth. So we're going to put it in S tier for now. Sound quality, here's where I personally can't really vouch for this plugin, at least from my experience. I haven't gone through all the sounds. I tried. They even gave me an NFR version to make videos and all this stuff, which were unreleased because they didn't approve of something. So I was so frustrated. I was like, why am I even focused on your company? I'm doing y'all a favor. Okay, so maybe I'm a little bit biased here. But sound quality, I was like trying to make it work. And because I had to try to make something work, I'm going to put it in the B category because I had to really work with stuff to make it sound good. Features, again, I don't know all the features. So because everything's kind of like loop based or chop based, the features per what it does is pretty rich. We're going to pull that up to A tier. Lastly, price. I'm not sure the current price. So we're just going to keep it at the A tier, to be fair. Okay, so purity. Again, everything starts at the A tier and then we move it up or down. Purity. So this is going to be interesting. Ease of use. Yes, I'll say it's easy to use. Marketing, terrible. I don't even know. The companies are great. They have a great product, but they don't push it. I don't see them doing deals with content creators. Again, the same problem most of these audio companies have. It's almost so bad that it's unknown. Purity. Their marketing literally took it from A to D. That's how bad the marketing is. Word of mouth. It's kind of on the West Coast. They talk about Purity. You really don't hear about Purity. It's more of a legacy plugin, but we still respect it because it's a good legacy plugin. But I just wish the company would at least try to work with content creators, even if they don't have a lot of capital. What they can do is, go to a YouTuber like myself and say, hey, here's an affiliate system or an affiliate code. If you sell, $100 worth of our plugin, we'll give you 50. Be fair with the content creators. They're giving life back to your stale marketing and you do it for free. They get commissions on the back end. You get your plugin promoted. You just made money you never had before. That's what a lot of these companies need to do or they're going to fail coming up in 2023. You can't keep not sharing wealth with the content creators. It's not going to work. Okay. So we have that. Sound quality, I would say, pulls this up to a B. It has really nice sounds to where it even created a genre. It's very popular in plug and B and West Coast music. Features, I think Purity has a lot of features actually that are surprising for how legacy it is. Like it has temperament adjustments, scale adjustments, all these random scales and tunings. For that reason, I'm going to rank it up as far as features. Maybe not the greatest of search features, but it has other features that are pretty cool for a legacy product. And lastly, price, it was pretty fair. I think it was $50 when I bought it. That's beyond fair, but I'm not going to put it S tier because it's not in that, it's not in that Michael Jackson tier of plugins. Serum is up next. So again, we're going to start at A tier. Ease of use. Is it easy to use? I'll say for what it can do, it's easy to use. It's the easiest to use synth that can do everything that it does. So I'll say that. You can achieve a lot with this plugin. Now, is it the only plugin you need? Not really, but it can do most of what all the other synths can do. Marketing, I think the marketing kind of slowed down a little bit, and I'm not sure why. So for that reason, I'm going to say B tier because I'm unsure why their marketing slowed down. They try to do partnerships through Splice and all this, but that's not marketing to me. That's just collaborative ventures. It's not really like a marketing thing. Word of mouth, Serum's pretty heavy word of mouth. It kind of died down a little bit, but it's still word of mouth. So I'll rank it A tier. Sound quality, I would say the things you can achieve in Serum are pretty high level. So for that, we're going to rank it all the way up to S tier. And features in Serum, pretty high up. Again, if you know sound design, Serum has basically everything you need to make almost any sound you could think of. Not all sounds, but almost any sound you could think of. That's synthetic. Okay, so we're going to rank that up pretty high. And the price, from what I remember, was like 180. I think for what you're getting, there's value there. So we're going to keep it S tier. It's up in the S tier, upper echelons. Lastly, we have Expand 2. This has been a journey. Hopefully you guys took some tidbits from here and I can help you with your buying decisions. None of this is affiliate links. What I will do, actually, let me think about it. I have a Sweetwater affiliate link that I rarely use, but what I'll do, to be fair, is I'll link all these in my Sweetwater affiliate links. That way, if you want to show support for this video, you could just buy whatever these plugins are through that link and it will credit BusyWorks Beats. I don't even push my Sweetwater link because sometimes I forget, it's other stories behind the scenes, but I'll try to find these on Sweetwater and I'll link them below, but that's my affiliate link. So if you click that link specifically and you buy through that link, it goes to me. So I thank you if you do purchase anything through that. Okay, Expand 2. Expand 2 is, and that was not my intent for the video. I just freestyled that off the top of my head. Expand 2. Okay, ease of use. I would say it's pretty easy to use. For what it does, you just click the thing, change the preset, load it up. Marketing, terrible. Okay, I haven't heard the company push this thing at all. For that reason, it's dropping down 2 ranks. It's talked about, but it's not, I don't feel like it's being pushed by anybody. Word of mouth, I would say it's pretty heavy word of mouth, so that's going to rank it back up to B. Sound quality is pretty up there for for the price and what you're getting. It's up there. It has so many sounds in there. Okay, it's not like Omnisphere. It's like buying a keyboard, but like the light version of the keyboard, but it has a lot of sounds in it. And that sound quality features, I would say, again, it's not overly feature rich. We don't need really a lot more features. Maybe a search feature, if anything, if they ever make Expand 3, a search feature. Outside of that, it doesn't need a bunch of features added. So I'll just say it could be better, but there's no demand to make it better. Lastly, we have price. And I think the price for a while was like $1. Then it was $15. Then it was like 89. Then it was like 189. So the price just kind of varies based on demand. For that, I can't really say that it's stable enough of a price. And I'm not going to D rank it because the value is there. So we're going to keep that A rank. So as a recap, if you skip this whole video and you just want to see the ending, Analog Lab made the S tier. Contact 7 made S tier. All of Spectrasonic's Omnisphere, Keyscape, Trillion, that made the S tier. Serum made the S tier. Okay, now A tier are Ample Sound, Ample Guitar, mainly any of them that you like. We have the Korg Collection, okay? That's A tier. Then we have Output Arcade. It kind of barely made A tier, but it's there. We have Purity, which is A tier. And then we have Expand 2 by, I want to say Team Air. Is that the company? That made Expand 2. Now, I think Team Air made a lot of, I might be mixing up the companies, but I think they made a lot of Pro Tools plugins that are crazy good, like beyond good. So when we get the mixing plugins, they're going to be an S tier. I already know. Sorry to spoil it for you. And then Nexus is only in the B tier because of the poor marketing and just, it needs fertilizer. Okay, so thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment of your favorite plugin. And if I should do the mixing plugin addition to this, please like the video and let me know so that I'm incentivized to know that you actually want it. So I'll do it. All right, thank you guys. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com.